At the start of the story, we see a guy named Lee sitting inside a dark jail cell. In front of him is a piece of paper, and he's carefully making a fake stamp by hand. Lee isn't just any ordinary prisoner. He's a super skilled artist. He wants to send a letter to someone from inside the jail. But here's the problem. To send the letter, he needs to give the jail postman $10, and Lee doesn't even have a single rupee. So he uses his unbelievable skills to make a fake stamp himself, and the stamp is it's so perfect that even if someone tries, they won't be able to tell the real from the fake. Just then, when the postman arrives, Lee wants to give him the letter, but the postman demands $10. At that exact moment, an old prisoner in the opposite cell suddenly starts pretending to be sick and begins shouting. This distracts the postman, and Lee takes advantage of the situation to quietly slip his letter into the postman's bag. Who he's sending the letter to and why, we'll find out at the end of the movie. Meanwhile, a little later, the police. Akar Lee is taken out of jail. Here, we find out that Lee had been locked up in a prison in Thailand all this time, and now Inspector Ho from the Hong Kong police has brought him into custody. Inspector Ho sits him down in the interrogation room and starts reading out all the charges against him one by one. The first charge is counterfeiting money. Besides that, 2 years ago, he attacked a central bank vehicle on a highway in Canada, which led to the deaths of about 7 guards. And that's not all. There were several more attacks in the city after that. The police suspect that an international gang is behind all this, and Lee is directly accused of being involved in these incidents. But, as always, Lee denies all the charges. He keeps saying that the real mastermind is a big mafia boss known as Painter. However, he can't provide any info about Painter's real name or where to find him. Even today, when Inspector Ho questions him, no useful information about Painter comes out of his mouth. Only sheer fear shows on his face. He appears, crying and saying that the Painter will find him and kill him. So, he needs to be sent back to jail as soon as possible. After that, the police collect his blood and hair samples and match them with the DNA found at the crime scene. And the results show that every single sample perfectly matches Lee's. This means his crime is as clear as day. The police keep pressuring him to confess, but like always, Lee refuses to admit anything. Just like that, outside the police station, a girl named Yuvin was waiting. She had come with her lawyer to get Lee bailed out, but the police flat out refused, saying Lee is a key witness in several big cases. So, there was no way his bail could be granted. However, the police made one condition. If Lee reveals the real identity of the Painter, then they might consider his bail. Hearing this, Yuvin went straight to Lee and begged him to tell the whole truth. Right then, Lee opened up and started revealing things from the past. The story starts unfolding. Then the scene cuts to several years back. Here, we see Lee and Yuan for the first time. Both were artists, and they created amazing paintings. Through their art, they gradually got closer and eventually fell in love. But there was a big difference between them. Yuan was a creative artist who made original paintings in her own unique style. Lee, on the other hand, didn't do any original work. He just copied famous artists' paintings exactly. His copies. Her ability to create music was truly unbelievable. But the problem was, no one was interested in these duplicate paintings. Little did she know, this talent for copying would eventually lead her down a dangerous path. One day, Luke, an art gallery owner, comes to check out her paintings. He's impressed by Yuvin's work and wants to buy all the paintings. But he doesn't like Lee's paintings at all because they're copies of other artists' work. Luke refuses to display them in his exhibition. That's when Yuvin insists. Either he has to buy all the paintings together, or she won't sell even one. After Luke leaves, Lee tells Yuvin, "Don't worry about me. A guy from Tokyo has already bought all my paintings." But after a while, Yuvin realizes Lee was lying. Not a single painting was sold. Actually, Lee just didn't want anything to mess up Yuvin's career because of him. Anyway, on the day of the exhibition, Yuvin quietly places one of Lee's paintings right next to his own. Everyone was praising the work. Just then, a guy comes over and starts making fun of Lee's painting. Seeing this, Yuvin gets so angry that she throws water on him. But after the exhibition ends, Lee himself goes up to the guy and apologizes. Then the guy laughs and says he was just joking, hoping Lee would come meet him alone because the painting he bought at the exhibition was actually Lee's. After that, they sit down at a restaurant and chat for a long time. The guy introduces himself as a painter. Yep, it's the same painter named Lee. He kept informing the police again and again, praising Lee, The painter says that copying any picture in such a perfect way is no small thing. He directly offers him a deal, saying that this talent of yours will be very useful to me. The next day, Lee meets the painter and says that he is ready to accept any offer from him. Smiling, the painter welcomes him to his team. But when Lee hears what kind of work he has to do, the ground slips beneath his feet. The painter hands him a dollar bill and says, "You have to create an exact copy of this note." That means he's straight up offering Lee a deal to make fake notes. Lee instantly blows up and rejects the offer. Then the painter reveals his real name is Sung. His family's been in the fake note business for 3 generations. But no one's ever gone to jail because they're super careful about it. Now the big question is, will Lee eventually agree to this risky offer? The painter then starts explaining to Lee that the new dollar they printed has such complicated pictures and letter patterns that only high quality, even expensive printers can't print it properly. That's why they'll need Lee's unbelievable skill. And after seeing Lee's work, the painter wants to convince him to take the offer. At first, Lee refuses, but thinking about his bad financial situation, he finally agrees. At that time, Yuvin was heading to the US for an exhibition, so Lee quietly slips away without telling her anything. Meanwhile, the painter takes him by plane to Canada and introduces him to his entire team. This team has been making fake notes for 20 years. There are some experts with a lot of experience. Everyone is an absolute pro at something. They all come together to hatch a big plan to make fake notes. Here, we realize that copying the American dollar is no kid's game. Every US dollar has a picture of Benjamin Franklin, and this picture is made using many fine layers. On Franklin's collar, in tiny letters, it says, "United States of America, now." On the new notes, the American government has added even more security features. Layers have been added, making it absolutely impossible to copy this note without fine painting or advanced printing. Not only that, the notes use a special ink that looks purple from one side and golden from the other. This is called a moire effect, meaning the ink changes color depending on the angle. So, to make this note, they need to combine real paper with this special ink. Now, the entire painter's team starts brainstorming solutions to these problems. Putting the watermark was a big challenge. To do this, they decided to follow the technique used by old Chinese artists, painting on 3 separate layers. The watermark would be set very precisely on the middle layer, and Lee had to do this entire job himself. Before starting the main work, Lee prepared some practice notes. He drew the notes so perfectly that the whole team was completely amazed watching him work. After practicing like this for a few days, they suddenly went to Eastern Europe. There, at an auction, an old banknote printing machine was up for sale, and they bought it. Now the question was, where would they get paper that feels like real banknote paper? Then a painter shared an amazing tip. He said that the US government uses the exact same quality paper to print telephone directories. As soon as they heard this, they went straight to the printing press of that directory and bought 500 tons of paper directly from the owner. With this paper in hand, they started printing fake notes according to Lee's design. From the auction, the huge machine they bought started printing note after note, and these notes looked just like the real ones. But there was still one big problem left: the color changing effect. The special ink needed for that was only available at government offices, and to get this ink, the painter came up with a daring plan. So, the painter and his team directly attacked a central bank vehicle. That vehicle was carrying several barrels of the color-changing ink, and stealing those was exactly what the painter was after. Now, unwillingly, he has to go with him for this job. When they try to snatch the car, the guards start shooting, and in response, Painter's gang fires back. In the middle of this intense shootout, poor Lee gets badly stuck. Then suddenly, a guard points his gun at Lee. But right at that moment, Painter shows up and shoots the guard dead. After that, music. Painter throws a bomb and blows up a car in the distance, which takes out the rest of the guards too. Then they grab the barrels of ink and quickly make their escape. They go. But seeing the painter act so violently for the first time among everyone, Lee's soul just shivers inside. Until now, he had been cautiously making fake notes, but he never imagined he'd have to get involved in bloodshed too. Yet now, he was stuck in a swamp with no way out. Meanwhile, after bringing the more effect ink, they put it into the printer and start printing the notes again. And now, every note that comes out shows the color-changing effect just like a real note. Seeing the scene, the whole team started jumping with joy because they had made something that was impossible to tell apart from real currency. But Lee was feeling really guilty inside. He asked the painter, When this ink runs out, will we have to kill people again to get more ink? He thought it'd be better if he tried making the ink himself. But the painter snapped at him and shut him up. Now, under the painter's orders, his guys started packing the fake notes into suitcases and smuggling them to different countries. That's how they're counterfeiting. The empire of the notes keeps growing day by day, but the police have already caught wind of their activities. An undercover cop named Wing is given the responsibility to investigate the case. Wing teams up with an inspector and starts tracking the movements of Painter's gang. Then, disguised as a buyer, they go straight to meet the gang members. The Painter's men were having a party on a boat in the middle of the sea. However, Painter and Lee weren't there. Wing observes everything from there and then leaves. But Painter's, the real game hadn't even started yet. Painter fixes a meeting with an old client named General. The next day, he sets off for General's house with Lee. On the way, Lee tells Painter something important. He says he knows about a special kind of carpenter that can create more effect. This means they can use this ink to bring a two-tone effect on dollar bills from two different angles, and no one would have to get hurt. Painter is really happy to hear this idea. He promises that he'll buy a resort in Lee's name, where he can spend the rest of his life peacefully with Yuan. But just then, the painter suddenly hands Lee a bomb remote and says, "You have to press this button only when I signal." Meanwhile, after reaching the general's house, the meeting starts as usual. The general offers the painter a good price for buying fake notes and says, "Shift here with your entire gang for 6 months and teach my people how to make perfect fake notes just like you." Then the general laughs and says, "If your father were alive, he would have agreed to this deal right away." As soon as the painter hears this, his expression changes in a terrifying way. He slowly gets up from his chair, walks over to the general, and whispers in his ear, "You killed my father 7 years ago." Hearing this, the general realizes the painter isn't here to do business but to take revenge. The painter opens his shirt to show that his entire body is strapped with bombs. Then, shouting, he tells Lee to press the button on the remote. But Lee is shaking all over with fear, can't even move his hand. When the painter yells at him louder, the remote slips from Lee's hand and falls to the ground, hitting the switch as it drops. But the explosion doesn't come from the bombs tied to the painter's body. They were fake. The real blast happens outside, in the painter's parked car. I mean, this guy was literally carrying a whole bunch of bombs in his car. The blast hits so hard that several of the general's men go down right there. The others run over and start shooting at the painter. Yeah, but the painter pulls out 2 pistols, one in each hand, and starts shooting so smoothly that people start dropping one after another. But that was just the beginning because the general wasn't some rookie either. However, the painter had already planned for this. One of his guys, hidden deep in the forest, starts firing a rocket launcher nonstop. The rocket attacks blow everything up, and the whole area gets engulfed in flames. Amidst all the smoke and destruction, the painter grabs 2 rifles and takes out even more people. Then some of his. And then his guys roll in with more vehicles and start running over the general's men. Meanwhile, some of the general's crew sneak into the jungle and take out the guy firing the rocket launcher. Amid all this, poor Lee is huddled in a corner trying to save his own skin. The shooting goes on for quite a while. Finally, the general himself shows up with an armored car and starts firing straight at Painter. But Painter stylishly jumps and shoots back, hitting the right spot on the vehicle and totally wrecking it. He turns the tables. That's how he finishes off the general too, but during this battle, a girl named Ching, who worked for the general, catches fire. Lee runs over and puts out the flames. But by then, her face was badly burned. On the way back, Painter takes her to the hospital and then blows up the general's entire base. Wiping it out about a month later, Ching slowly starts healing from her injuries. Painter gives her a new ID and passport with the name Yuvan on it. He had written it. Seeing this made Lee really angry because Yuvan is the name of his girlfriend. But the painter doesn't pay any attention to him. So, with this new identity, Ching joins the painter's gang and slowly starts getting attracted to Lee, although Lee doesn't really take any of it seriously. Meanwhile, one day they all go together to see Yuvan's art show. There, the painter tells Lee that he's arranged a resort for him. Now he can live a peaceful life with Yuvan. But Lee, feeling upset, he asks, would Yuvan really want to live in a resort bought by a criminal? Just then, they find out that Yuvan is about to marry Luke, the owner of that art gallery. Actually, Lee hadn't been in touch with Yuvan for a long time. So Yuvin stopped waiting for him and got into a relationship with Luke. After hearing this, Lee quietly leaves the gallery and tells the painter that he and Ching want to leave the gang now. The painter gets furious, starts cursing at him, and says he can only leave after finishing the ink-making job. Meanwhile, the undercover officer Wing wants to switch things up and meet the painter directly. But the painter was already suspicious. After digging around, he finds out that one of his gang members, a guy named Uncle Yin, bought a watch using the fake notes they themselves had made. The gang had a strict rule that no one was allowed to buy anything with their own counterfeit money. This meant Yin broke the rules, and because of this mistake, the police got wind of their activities. He's done for. That's why the painter wants to punish Yin. Yin falls to his knees in front of him, begging and pleading for mercy, even asking for the safety of his wife and daughter, because the painter has a brutal rule. If someone slips up, their whole family gets wiped out too. But the painter doesn't care about Yin's sobbing and begging. He coldly shoots him right then and there. Seeing this merciless killing, Lee can't hold himself back. He immediately lunges at the painter, but the painter fires a shot right by his ear and hits him hard in the face. He throws a punch. Meanwhile, Wing comes back in disguise to meet the painter again, but the painter already knew all his plans. So, during their conversation, he suddenly tells Lee to shoot Wing. But even this time, Lee can't move from his spot. In the end, the painter shoots Wing himself and finishes him off. After that, he gets even angrier at Lee and reveals something that sends chills down Lee's spine. The painter shows that he has taken Yuvin and her fiancé Luke hostage right now. He had kidnapped Yuvin and Luke somehow, just to blackmail Lee. The painter tells Lee to shoot Luke directly, but Lee absolutely refuses. Instead, he pulls a gun on the painter. Music. In the chaos, the trigger gets pressed and a bunch of bullets fly, killing Luke. After that, a fierce gunfight breaks out between the painter and Lee. Meanwhile, Ching shows up and starts taking out the painter's men one by one. In the end, Lee shoots the painter right in the chest. Also ends it. Meanwhile, Lee wants to save Yuvin, but Ching stops Yuvin by threatening to kill him. Actually, she had gotten really attracted to Chingli. So, no matter what, she doesn't want Yuvin to go to Lee. Lee has no other choice. So, he's forced to leave Yuvin there and walk away. After that, he takes the bag of money and goes to the same resort the painter had bought for him. The next morning, Lee reads in the newspaper that the police haven't found the painter's dead body. That's when he thinks. The only thought going through is that maybe the painter isn't dead and he'll take revenge by killing Yuvin. So, Lee rushes out quickly to save Yuvin. But on the way, the police show up and arrest him. What happens next is what we saw at the start of the movie. The police tell Lee that he'll only get bail if he gives them all the info about the painter. And the same Yuvin Lee left behind is now coming to save him because Lee wrote her a letter from jail asking for forgiveness. Remember the beginning of the movie? The letter with the fake stamp was actually sent to Yuvin himself. On Yuvin's advice, Lee tells the police everything about the painter from start to finish, truthfully. The police ask him to make a sketch of the painter, and after that, he gets bail. The police then take him to a hotel and drop him off. There, Lee apologizes to Yuvin, and they share a romantic moment. Just then, Inspector Ho appears, dressed in police uniform, and his face looks exactly like the painter in Lee's sketch. He was actually walking right into the police station wearing a police uniform himself. So, the inspector and his team immediately arrested him. Everyone thought the country's most wanted criminal had finally been caught. But the guy shouted in shock, "Since when am I a criminal? I'm just a regular police constable." When he showed his ID, the inspector's face went pale because he finally realized that Lee had been fooling them all this time. But believe me, the real truth is, there's more to the story, and it's so shocking that you'll be left speechless. Music, have you figured it out yet? The terrifying painter we've been hearing about for so long. Music. Turns out that painter was actually Lee himself. From designing fake notes to attacking the central bank's vehicle and even massacring the general's hideout, he did it all alone. But to save himself, Music, he pretended to be super innocent in front of the police and created an imaginary character named Painter. And the poor police constable I saw his face on duty at the time of the arrest, and he made a sketch of it as a painter would. Think about it. Throughout the whole movie, we thought Lee was an innocent artist who was forced into this crime. But he was actually the real mastermind behind the entire operation. And not just that, there's an even scarier truth. After coming from China, Lee never actually met Yuvin. The girl who came to the police station to save him, and the one he was with at the hotel, wasn't really Yuvin. She was actually Ching, the same girl Lee had plastic surgery done on to make her look like Yuvin. He got his face music. Remember during the war at the general's place, Ching's face got badly burned. Right after that, Lee had it made to look like Yuan because he could never get the real Yuan. So, he turned Ching into Yuan and kept him close. Anyway, the next day, Ching, now pretending to be Yuan, gets really pissed off. She realizes Lee never truly loved her as Ching. Music. He was just looking for Yuan's face in her. In her anger, Ching kidnaps the real Yuan and his boyfriend Luke and Lee. She says, "If you really love me, then get rid of them." Then a gunfight breaks out between them, and during the shootout, Luke gets shot. After that, when Lee tries to run away, the police catch him. But Ching comes to save him again because Lee had written a letter from jail asking for her forgiveness. Now, after learning the whole truth, Inspector Ho immediately runs towards the hotel. But by then, it's already too late. Lee and Ching had already taken out all the hotel guards and escaped. Now, the two of them are heading towards the sea. They were sitting in the boat, sailing far away from Hong Kong. But then Ching suddenly reveals something that breaks Lee's heart. She admits that she was purposely steering the boat in circles, and before coming here, she had written the boat's number on a lighter so the police could easily find them. So why did she do this? Because Ching realized Lee would never love her. He only loves Yuan, whose face is always on his mind. In other words, Ching now wants to get back at Lee. Just then, Lee sees the police approaching. They surrounded him from all sides. He tries to speed away in the boat, but Ching had already hidden explosives in the boat. She presses the trigger, and with a huge blast, the entire boat turns into a fireball. In the end, the fire swallows them both. After Lee's death, Inspector Ho goes to the real Yuan. He tells him they've identified the painter. But Yuan had no idea that Lee was the real painter since his eyes were covered during the kidnapping. When Inspector Ho, when he shows her Lee's photo, she says, "Yeah, I know this guy. He used to be my neighbor." This means there was never any relationship between Lee and Yuan. Her love was completely one-sided, and she never told Yuan how she felt. She was so obsessed with him that she wanted to become an artist like Yuan. But becoming an original artist like him was beyond Lee. So, using her amazing copying skills, she chose the wrong path. Her plan was to, after earning all that money, one day he would stand tall in front of Yuan. But that dream of his was shattered in the end. Pieces of the boat scattered in the dark sea, ashes of burning paper, and the wasted end of an amazing talent. She didn't even know about the music he loved, and the one who loved him, he never truly valued. And that's where the story ends.